Hey, listen up. I got news for you. Tuesday night, right after Happy Days, you're invited to meet Laverne and Shirley.
That's us. I'm Shirley. This is Laverne.
Of course that's us. Who do you think they think we were, Doris Day and Sandra Dee?
Don't start, Laverne. We're on national television.
Whoa, Laverne and Shirley. I'll be there, too, because I'm their guest star. Now, listen, I want you to watch, because they're very close friends of mine. How close? Girls?
Premiering Tuesday at 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hasenbemp Incorporated.
We're gonna do it. Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. Nothing's gonna turn us back now. Straight ahead and on the track now. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. There's nothing we won't try. Never heard the word impossible this time. There's no stopping us. We're gonna do it. On your mark, get set, and go now. Got a dream and we just know now. We're gonna make that dream come true. And we'll do it our way, yes, our way. Make our dreams come true. And we'll do it our way, yes, our way. Make our dreams come true. For me and you.
Sitcom, all ye faithful, a Christmas podcast special where I discuss 25 Christmas sitcom episodes. Please come and listen every day until Christmas. I'm sure we'll feature Fonzie, the Bradys, and Steve Urkel, Dunder Mifflin, Mayberry, and definitely Alf. We'll definitely talk about Alf.
Happy Merry everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sitcom All Ye Faithful, where today we're talking about the 1976 episode of Laverne and Shirley, Season 2, Episode 10, Oh Hear the Angels' Voices, or also known as Christmas at the Booby Hatch. And you may say to yourself, well, why are there two titles? We'll get to it. And what the hell is a booby hatch? Oh, we'll get there. So this, as far as I can tell, Laverne and Shirley isn't streaming anywhere. So how does one watch this episode? One turns to Google and finds it on Dailymotion. You're familiar with Dailymotion, right? That's the video site that came out almost around the same time as YouTube, and I feel like it just never caught on. I think, to me, it's just a place where people try to post episodes of shows and try to keep up with them being taken down for copyright infringement. That's how I feel about Dailymotion. I never feel like it's a legit like video site, something like YouTube or even Vimeo. Or now TikTok or, Instagram. But like, to me, Dailymotion just felt like you're going to Big Lots instead of Walmart or something like, you know what I mean? But anyway, Laverne and Shirley, I mean, what can I say? This is another one of these shows. Now, when this episode aired, I was just a little baby, getting ready for my first Christmas. But to me, Laverne and Shirley is one of these shows that just feels like a staple of my childhood. That and Happy Days. And of course, they're in the same world. They're both created by Gary Marshall. This is a spinoff of Happy Days, and it's one of these things where I remember watching it as a kid, and then I remember like years later. I think I was done with college and hadn't started my job yet, and I was just like doing resumes all day. And left the TV on. I think TBS or TNT or USA or one of these channels would play Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley every day. And maybe I was watching it in college too when I had my TV can only get so many channels. But I watched so many episodes of this show, and I got such a greater appreciation for just how funny it was. I love Laverne and Shirley, but of course Lenny and Squiggy, like they're the goofuses, but they're also ridiculously talented comedic actors. And then you got Carmine, played by Eddie Mecca. And, I was going to do Laverne and Shirley, no matter what. I was doing the episode. But I moved it up a little bit because by the time you hear this, it's been a few days. But just yesterday, I learned that Eddie Mecca, Carmine from Laverne and Shirley, had passed away at the age of 69 years old. And Carmine never quite, got his due as far as, at least my opinion, he was supposed to be the Fonzie of the show, the cool guy. But he was definitely more of a song and dance man, where Fonzie was he was just damn cool. And even in this episode, you're like, damn, this Carmine, the big ragu, he is very, very talented as far as singing and dancing. And I feel like, he never quite broke out of this Laverne and Shirley show. When you look at the cast, you look at Laverne and Shirley. Laverne obviously broke out and became a big time director. Shirley Feeney, she, you still think of her as Shirley Feeney. You think of her with her cat. My God, I can't remember the cat's name. Boo Boo Kitty, that's it. They had so many nicknames. They had Boo Boo Kitty. Then you had the Big Ragu. Then you had the Lone Wolf. That was Lenny. He would take the L, the same L as Laverne had, and he made the Lone Wolf, right? And Squiggy had to be is obviously a nickname too. This show just when I watch it, I feel like a little kid. You watch old shows that were around before you were even born, or you didn't watch growing up, and they're cool to see. They're classic, but when you watch some of these shows that were early '80s, late '70s, it kind of just transports you to like this time where you just kind of remember it. I remember finding a clip of like the ending credits. Actually, it was like audio of ending credits before there was even like video sites. There was someone found the ending credits of Laverne and Shirley, and it was like, Laverne and Shirley is brought to you by Clorox. Coming up next. And it made me like sad. For some reason, closing credits of TV shows make me sad, and it's always like, you think about Cheers. It's something about the ending credits. It was always like the softer version of the opening credits, and, it's not always, but most of the time. And it kind of like would depress me, like, oh, it's over. Like, that's never coming back. I don't know. What was I talking about? Oh, this episode specifically. This episode, as I said, aired in 1976, and it is a Christmas episode. Of course, why was it called the Booby? Christmas at the Booby Hatch. Well, here's the thing. It makes sense. It's never actually mentioned in the show, but the episode opens where they're hanging out at the pizza parlor at Laverne's dad, Mr. DeFazio's pizza parlor, and they're waiting around, and Carmine wants to meet them all. He wants to meet them all there. They're like, I wonder why Carmine wants to meet us all. And Lenny I crack up right away. He's like, maybe he wants to murder us. And they're like, why would he want to do that? And Squiggy's like, they smashed his windshield in his car. They threw a rock through it. Why? Who has any idea? Laverne shows up with this tiny little tree. It's the only tree she could get. And the father's like, that's what you can get? It's like, you gave me $1 to get this tree. So Carmine comes in. He's like, hey, everybody. He didn't go da-da-da-da. Sometimes he sings and dances his way in. But he's saying, hey, guys, I had to rush over here because I'm going away to Europe and I had to get all my inoculations. And it just made me think like, it just made me think of modern times. Like, oh my God, he got vaccines because he's going overseas. What a crazy person he is to get a vaccine. Like, oh my God. I look, if you're listening and you don't like vaccines, I hate you. Okay. Now moving on. Here's the thing. He's putting on a show, and he needs their help. It's such a sitcom like thing. Hey guys, I'm putting on a show, and all the kids at my studio, because he's a dance instructor, all the kids in my studio, they're not around for Christmas, so we need you guys to do it. Can you guys help me put on a show? It's like, I don't know. Come on, it's for a hospital. Don't you want to help sick people and people in need on Christmas Eve? They're like, okay, fine. So they go to the hospital, and they're setting up. And this doctor comes in. He's like, hello there. How are you? And they're like, we walked through this hospital and not many people look sick. This is what Squiggy said. He goes, well, that's because we are a mental hospital. That's what they say. He says, a mental hospital. Oh, psychiatric patients. They're like, oh. And then Howard Hessman, the great Howard Hessman from WKRP in Cincinnati. And he also taught some people like Dennis Blunden or Aristotle. Or, I think those are the only two. Arvid Engen, he was the original teacher on Head of the Class. Everyone knows who Howard Hessman is. And he walks in, and he's like, now, there don't talk to the guests. Turns out that first doctor wasn't a real doctor. He was a patient dressed up as a doctor talking to them. And he kind of walks around. He's in the episode throughout, just kind of pretending to be different people. And Howard Hessman comes in, and he's like, I'm the real doctor. This is a mental hospital, but, everything should be fine. He goes, if anything, does happen, you just kind of stand still. And they all stood still when he said that. He goes, come on, let me show you the dressing room and everything. But Shirley Feeney's freaked out. She's like, I can't do this. My aunt was put away in a hospital like this. And when I was a kid, they told me if I acted up, they'd stick me with my aunt. And Laverne's like, oh, come on, you'll be fine. And okay, here's where it comes in the title comes in. I guess a booby hatch. Is that did I say Christmas at the booby hatch? Did I get that right? It is a term for a psychiatric hospital, a derogatory term, a term no longer used. So at the time, it was probably like, haha, this is silly. This is a funny way of talking about a mental hospital. I'm picturing Gary Marshall going, this is a funny thing to talk about a mental hospital. That's my Gary Marshall. But time goes on and you realize, joking about mental health like that, probably not a great idea. So I don't know if it was when it was released on DVD or when it was put on streaming or when it was, at some point they changed the title to the Christmas Voices title. So anyway, the rest of the episode is really, and then the rest of the episode really just like them putting on the show. That's it. It's funny. This is the second Christmas show that features a Christmas show in it. The first one was Dick Van Dyke. Now we have the Pizza Bowl Players is what Carmine calls them. So they're kind of waiting for the show to start. And this Laverne is like major flirt. And she's flirting with this guy, Vincent, who's a patient there. And the flirting is just creepy as hell because the guy keeps sticking his tongue into his cheek like stick your tongue out to your cheek like so it bulbs out. He keeps doing that, and Laverne's doing it back to him, and they're doing these little hand motions. And Shirley's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm flirting. He promises to take me places and buy me things. And they're thinking to themselves, this is a patient here. He's obviously lying and all these things, but Laverne still loves flirting. She doesn't care. She's all horned up. Shirley, meanwhile, there's this girl behind this counter who keeps staring at her, and she's freaking out. She's like, this girl's trying to, what's she doing? She's staring at me like, come on, just be our friend, Shirley. Then she sits next to Shirley. Shirley's like, "Whoa, I'm freaked out here." And then the guy who was pretending to be a doctor, he's like, "I hope you stick around to the end. We have a real surprise for you." I was like, "Oh, a real surprise. I wonder what that is." And then we get the performances of the show. And that's like, this is the best part of the show because Lenny and Squiggy come out. Lenny and the Squigtones, the classic Lenny and the Squigtones that these guys were doing this bit before they were even on Laverne and Shirley, doing these performances together. So they come out and they do a Christmas song that is it was just a classic, silly Christmas song.
Moving right along in person. Here they are, Lenny and the Squigtones.
Christmas is a special time for everybody. Be they rich or poor, pretty or ugly.
So in case any of you are thinking of jumping up here on the stage, remember, we can get pretty ugly.
It was Christmas Eve night at the poorhouse, and all of the paupers were there. I stepped in because it was snowing, and snow always screws up my hair. By the pot-bellied stove sat a pot-bellied man. He spoke with some lumps in his throat. His story was sad, and his diction was bad. And here is the song that he wrote. I once was the jolliest fat man, with roses in all of my cheeks. I'd load up my sled every Christmas and go on a drunk for 2 weeks. My friends said they saw me on rooftops and sliding down chimneys at dawn. With my reindeer in hand, I would glide across the land and wake up on somebody's lawn. One morning, my wife left this message. Each Christmas I've spent by myself. I'm sick of your stupid traditions, so I've run off to Spain with an elf. Just then the old man started dying. He screamed, "May the Lord take my soul." We went through his wallet to see who he was. His address read simply, North Pole. So the next time you go by the poorhouse, if by the poorhouse you go, just take off your hat to a dead guy who's fat and whisper a silent ho, ho.
I love their chemistry together. I mean, I'm a huge Michael McKean fan. Like he's the guy who broke out and became the besides Penny Marshall, the big, time actor, comedic actor, dramatic actor with Better Call Saul. And he's great. Him and Lenny together are great. I mean, him and Squiggy together are great. And then we get followed up by the man himself, the late, rest in peace, Eddie Mecca, Carmine, comes out. Is it Carmine Ragusa? I forget. So he comes out and does a nice little song and dance to Jingle Bell Rock.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing a bushel of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Oh, jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, what a bright time. It's a right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time, it's a swell time to go sliding in a one-horse sleigh. Oh, giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock.
I mean, the guy's tapping, he's dancing, he's spinning, he's flipping, he's dressed like a sailor, this sailor suit that that Jerry the Mouse wore when he danced with Fred Astaire. He is just bringing it. And then we're followed by Laverne and Shirley. They come out and do their own song.
Audience, folks, we're going to have you meet two girls who are not professionals, but have been rehearsing a singing and dancing number just for you. How about that? Laverne and Shirley!
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird. Here to stay is the new bird. We'll sing our love song as we go along. Walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow you can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. You'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on we'll perspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the friends we have made, walking in a winter wonderland.
And then they're doing this baton twirling, and then Shirley gets on Laverne's shoulders, and they're spinning their batons, and they're spinning around, and everyone's clapping, and everyone's loving it. And I noticed the band is really, it looks like they're reading, they have a band in the background, and they're playing playing their instruments. And to me, it looked like they were actually playing, because they were their heads were down looking at the sheet music, reading the sheet music. And it turns out, at least what I read on IMDb, that the drummer was Gary Marshall. I didn't even realize it was him at the time. And that was really it. The end of the show, they got huge applause, and then some of the patients came up and they're like, we're really, we want to thank you for coming. Not many people would come, and they might be afraid of us, but we're just trying to, get help like everyone else. And it turns out the guy that Laverne was flirting with, he's actually a big time executive. He comes here voluntarily to work things out. And then they're like, here's our big surprise. We made you a scroll with, a thank you scroll. And they opened it up, and it was signed like Napoleon and George Washington, all these real names. He's like, haha, we have a sense of humor too. Here's our real scroll, where I guess they just all signed a big giant thank you scroll. I don't know. And then it ended with all of them singing Silent Night.
Would you sing it with us?
Please? Sure. Come on, let's go.
Oh. Okay, let's sing. Go ahead. Start us off.
Isn't that a pretty tune?
Silent night, holy night,
Laverne and that guy she was flirting with are flirting a little more. Shirley, the girl that was staring at her, looked, caught her eye. And then Shirley put her arm around her, and they smiled. And it was like, look, we can accept these mental patients. Oh, how wonderful. But you still got to change the name of the title. And, Silent Night. And that was it. That was the end. Really just kind of a nice, neat episode with some fun musical numbers, most notably Lenny and the Squigtones. And yeah, just a great kind of memory of my childhood. And when I look back, my goodness, Penny Marshall's gone. Now Eddie Meck is gone. Is it David I can't think of his name. Squiggy, he's gone. Obviously, the two older people, Mr. DeFazio and his girlfriend, they're gone. I mean, it's just like, crazy when you think about it. Howard Hessman's still kicking. But that's it. I think I've covered just about everything. I wanted to throw some of those musical numbers in there. So I hope you enjoy that. And, what are we? I don't even know what day it is because I'm recording these ahead of time. I think this is day 5. But either way, and this is just the beginning. We have many days and many sitcoms ahead. And, not all of them are going to be considered quote-unquote classics. They're going to be I'm going to have some fun. I want to have fun with maybe some bad sitcoms, some bad episodes, or things that just invoke some fun memories with me. So hopefully you stick around for the rest of the month, and you'll hear me. You'll hear a couple voices you may have heard before, and what you'll hear mostly is just fun Christmas fun. You can't have there's nothing more fun than having fun, because it's fun. And that's it. I did this entire episode, Jay, without yawning. And now as I say that, I'm afraid I'm going to make myself yawn. So I better finish now. So that's it. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek Mentality. The website is fans.experts.com. The Facebook page is Fans Not Experts. Give us any rule, we'll break it. And that's the thing. Laverne and Shirley really has a connection with Geek Mentality because without Laverne and Shirley, you wouldn't have my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time. And I'm kinda handsome, my mom says. Please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.